Hello, my name is Lindsay Handy, and this is my introduction video to EDL 856 School Community Relations. Meet me. My name again is Lindsay Handy, and I am a mom to a 1-year-old little boy named Blake, and we've got another one on the way, another boy. I'm a first grade teacher, and this is my 4th year teaching first grade. 3 years in the same school and 1 year in Kansas. I used to teach in KCK, and now I'm in Denver. I'm also a small business owner. My sister and I own a head lice removal facility, which I'm sure we've all heard a little bit about being in the education field working with children. Um, and I'm also, like I mentioned, a Denver transplant. I'm originally from Miami, Florida, where I lived until I was 18. Then I moved to South America to teach English, and then I moved to Denver, where I opened my business and am teaching. And then I just added my favorite quote at the bottom: "To live would be an awfully big adventure," by Peter Pan. And that's a picture of my husband and I and our 1-year-old son. This is where I work, Smith Elementary, and I always call it my home away from home. I absolutely love where I teach. This will be my 3rd year at Smith. I love who I work with. I love my leaders. Everything about Smith I love. I think our community relationships could get a little bit better, and that's definitely an area of growth for our school. But just a little bit about Smith. It is Denver. It is a Denver public school. It's also a title school. We have 98% of our students receiving free or reduced lunch. Um, I mentioned I'm a first grade teacher, and it's my 3rd year at Smith. And our school is extremely transient. In fact, out of my 23 students this year that I had, 9 of them lived at the Denver Rescue Mission, which is a homeless shelter. So, as you can imagine, with that, there's a lot of coming in and coming out. So, it's not just necessarily poverty in the building or the district, but our specific building and classroom has kiddos that are homeless. And so as they either get in a better situation or worse, they often leave us, which is unfortunate, but that's just part of working at Smith. I'm a part of the collaborative school committee. So like we meet monthly and make decisions as a group. And I'm also on the social committee. So I throw all of our staff parties and kind of try to do fun stuff within the building. So not so much like with our families, but just kind of getting our staff together in the building. School community relations to me. So I think that having a strong relationship with your community is huge. I grew up in a family where my mom was always making us, be part of the beach cleanups and just get out to every community event, whether it was a free jazz concert or, helping homeless or just really getting to know our community because having a relationship with your community is key. It's what makes you feel like you belong. And so I personally think that having an active community makes for a stronger school. We know schools don't have a lot of money, but what we do have are relationships. And so by being able to have a relationship with our community, we can reach so many more potentials that we didn't even know were possible. I think it's a way to create a closer relationship between the school and like our families. So oftentimes our families are a big part of the community, but they don't necessarily feel welcome in our school building. Maybe they had a bad experience in school, um, or they just don't feel like they're welcome. But by bridging a relationship between us as the school and our community, we're welcoming in families and so much more. I also mentioned that community can be such a resource if we would just take advantage of them. And I mentioned financial help, which is my last point. This year, we weren't given a budget for the social committee. And so I was like, I need to get out there and like get to know my community. And I'm also new to the area. So I went out and talked to local businesses, churches. I mean, even like a Planned Parenthood down the street, just different places in our community that are native to North Park Hill, which is where I teach. And we were able to get donations left and right, whether it was a basket to raffle off to staff or funds. Or actually, we even had some high schoolers come and babysit for our staff party. So just, really use your community, um, you know, as a resource for you as a building. Some communication techniques that I use currently in my classroom, I do have classroom newsletters. I send them out weekly, and I do paper copies, but I'm trying to switch to more of a social media aspect of it. I also use the Remind app, and it's really great because you can choose it as to use it as an app, or it can just push out like messages to cell phones. So like if parents don't have smartphones, and I also do phone calls and emails, positive and negative, whatever is needed. And like I mentioned, I really want to start to use more of like a social media platform. Kind of have like a Facebook in our classroom where parents can see what their kiddo is doing every day at school, and just some different projects we're working on, maybe how they can get involved, as well as a notification system, because I think that so many parents would like to be involved, but just because the kiddos that we serve, their parents often work a lot to make ends meet, and so they aren't necessarily 100% on top of checking their folders and whatnot. So if we had a notification system that was sent out and pushed out to parents, they might be able to become more involved. And finally, I really want to start to use our new PTA. This coming fall will be our first year with a solid PTA. We just started it this previous year, and they definitely hit the ground running, and they've done wonderful things. But I really want to use them as a resource to reach out to my community. Thank you.